know he's doing a great job down there. I think he's going to start this year for them. I intend to go down there to check him out and see him play. I promised that I would go down there. And so, but last night's game, a lot of fans came out. Probably one of the biggest crowds I've seen in a while for an opening night. The crowd was enthusiastic. Swamp Fox fans are hungry. They're looking for something. Last year, after the 1-9 finish, they're hungry/thirsty. Would you be, as a Swamp Fox fan?
I mean, one win. Yeah, I count that as like just a lost season. I wouldn't even count that as like a real season. It's like a season that's just lost to the ages. I would look at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to really get excited about football, though.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Even when they were good, I wasn't watching, honestly.
I know.
I mean, but I respect it.
You're not a football guy.
No, I'm not. I'm not really any other sport other than basketball, and I like tennis, but I don't really watch it that much.
Right.
So really, the only sport that I'm a spectator is basketball. That's about it.
Well, looking down the roster,
focus.
Right. Looking down the roster of some of the other players that for the Swamp Foxes last night that had an impact, that looked good out there. This kid Ja'Cory Pouncey looked good for them last night. Davion Evans had a big interception last night that put the Swamp Foxes in position to get a chance to get the victory last night. That was a big play by him. Deleon Moody did some good things out there. Tariq Nolan, wide receiver / point forward for the basketball team, also did some good things out there as well. Saquon McCullough had a touchdown last night. He played well, another basketball guy. I've also already mentioned Devontae Allen, a.k.a. what do they call this kid again? But he played well at quarterback last night, and I think he's going to be okay going forward. A lot of pressure was put on him last night. I guess it's safe to say that he was running for his life on too many occasions. The blocking did not stand up to the test that it needed to in order to help him get more time, because he's a scrambler, and he's the kind of guy that throws the ball well on the run. The play that he got hurt on was a play, it was like a broken type play where he was able to elude 80% of the latter defensive players. After running crisscross over the field a couple of times, he got loose down the right side, cut back to the left, and was basically off to the races. But I think those 50 or 60 yards that he ran prior to getting down there kind of took the wind out of his sails. And he was chased down from behind. I didn't expect him to be caught, but he was chased down from behind, and the guy ripped the ball by slapping him across the arm. And if he had retained possession, Marion would have had the ball deep in ladder territory with an opportunity to score. But because Ladder came up with the fumble that was shaken loose, the ball went back down to the other end, to the Marion end, and they were forced to start their offensive action from that point. But overall, I think he had a good showing last night. Marion did have a situation late where I thought they were going to win the game. They had tied it up, and they got the ball back, and it was down. I think they had a block punt or something. They had the ball down there deep, really on Ladder's goal line. I would think maybe at the 1 yard line or the 1 foot line. And they had an opportunity to go in and score. They had 4 downs to do it, but they weren't able to get it in the end zone. And to me, that was probably as big a play, as big a sequence as there was in the game last night, because they weren't able to score. and then the game went into overtime. And then in overtime, they had an opportunity to score a touchdown because, when it comes down to overtime, they do this thing with the ball at the 25-yard line. Everybody gets at the 25-yard line. And they get 4 downs to get it to score, either get it in the end zone or kick a field goal. Well, Marion wasn't able to get it into the end zone, but they were able to kick a field goal and take the lead. But now it was Ladder's turn to get the ball. And Ladder played very well last night for the most part. They did let Marion back in it. But I don't think anybody in the stadium was under any illusion that Ladder was going to come away during this particular overtime period without a touchdown. And I think it was 1 or 2 plays before the quarterback, skipped along the right sideline and got into the end zone for the win. I think this would have been a big win for the Swamp Foxes. It would have been a great way to start the season. But like I said, there was a silver lining, and that was that they showed great effort and want. They wanted this game last night. And the comeback was one of the best comebacks I've seen Marion football have in quite a while. One thing I did notice that I'm sure the coaches will address at some point, and I know that the kids were excited because, let's face it, they won 1 game last year. So they were tasting victory, and they were very excited about it. Excited to the point where they were kind of celebrating there a little bit. Kind of looking up in the stands and waving at people and doing the things that people usually do when they've got a victory in their back pocket. But the game wasn't in their back pocket yet. There was still time, and there was still time for them to win or lose that game. So I don't hold that against them, and I don't really criticize them that much for it, but they should have learned from that last night. As they say, the game's not over until the fat lady sings, or until there's zeros up on that board in the time spot. You got to keep playing.
Yeah, it's always a risk when you start talking trash before the game's over.
I can't say they were talking trash.
Or just celebrating. Like,
they were celebrating.
People like to celebrate when they don't have nothing to celebrate about. You haven't won.
You haven't won.
Celebrating is not what you do while the game is going on.
No, I mean, I can understand.
And I learned it the hard way because anybody who ever played NBA 2K, if you win it.
NBA 2K.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I learned my lesson. I mean, sometimes you start talking trash. You're up 15, you're up 20 in the third. You start talking trash. Before you know it, they go on a little run. Now it's 5 points, and you got the whole fourth quarter left. Now it's 3 points, and before you know it, you're losing the game. You was talking trash last quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be sending them messages and whatnot. You can send messages to people. So same way with that. You don't celebrate until it's over. Finish it. Yeah. When it's finished, then if you want to celebrate, you can. But even then, I mean, okay, move on to the next game.
You got to finish the game.
Finish the game.
And they were pretty close to doing that last night, but
close ain't close enough, as they just learned.
Right. And really, you really can't. I really can't fault the kids for the loss because there was some the offensive play calling that in that when they had that first down may not have been the best, because when you have the ball on the 1 yard line, I mean, I figure you should be able to put a power set in there and push that ball over the end zone to get that touchdown. I don't know that being in a shotgun at that juncture is a good thing. I mean, because, when you're in the shotgun, the quarterback is much further back. So if everything else being equal, he has to take that ball. If the ball remains in his hands and he's got to be the one to make a play, he's got a lot more further distance to go than a guy coming from a halfback position up the middle,
I mean, like, I feel like you could do it. I mean, I'm not a football expert, but
me either.
I mean, couldn't you do a handoff, man? I mean, just a handoff to a running back.
I'm thinking
it's 1 foot.
Yeah, but and when you're in the shotgun, that kind of puts you in a situation where it's much more room for error. Now, granted, it was the penalties that really killed them in that sequence, because they had maybe 3 penalties in a row, or 3 penalties in 4 plays that were called, and all that did was push them further and further back.
Is football really this complicated, though, man?
I
really don't think it is.
I don't believe that it is either. I don't think it should be this complicated.
If you got a foot to go, give it to your best person, your fastest or strongest person who can run, and that's it. I mean, what is there to talk about here? Either he's gonna get it or he ain't. You know what I'm saying? Either he's gonna get it or he's not. It's a foot.
Well, they had this kid Christian James in the backfield, big strapping youngster.
Give it to the strongest guy or the fastest guy, whatever it is.
Well,
and hope for the best.
You had him and Quali Crawford. Like I said, Quali hadn't been stopped all day.
I mean, blockers gonna block, runners gonna run. I mean, it's the same play every time.
Yeah.
Give it to the fastest, biggest, strongest guy, whoever you got, and hope for the best.
I think even though Christian James didn't carry the ball a lot last night, I don't see how Latta keeps him out of the end zone up the middle. I mean, I think I would have put it in his hands if not for Quali, because Christian's a really big kid, really strong.
It's a foot. If he gets through past one person, he's got a foot. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Or a handoff and have him go to either side, left side, right side. I mean, whatever. I don't feel this like brain surgery. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I believe.
But I'm not a football coach. I never played football either, so let's keep that in mind.
I can only speak to football from the standpoint of watching the game on TV.
Right.
Don't ask me to draw up a play. Don't ask me to get technical with all the things that football is about, with all the different play sets and all the different defenses. I can't tell you basically any of that stuff.
I would have to learn more about it, because to tell you the truth, the plays don't be looking that different to me from one play to the next. I mean, it's like somebody's either running this way, running the other way, running in the middle. I mean, it's like the basic stuff.
I think they've made football really complicated.
The most complicated thing I've seen is like route trees and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like remembering the routes or whatever for wide receivers and all that.
If you look at some college or pro playbooks, they're probably the size of this desk right here. They're that big. There's so much. It's been made so complicated that I don't know. It doesn't seem. I don't see where football has to be that complicated. I really don't.
Like if I'm faster than you, I mean, I'm either gonna run left around the line, run right around the line.
2 non-football guys.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like talking about it.
Right,
Like,
right.
I feel like you know, my ignorance is gonna come glaring through, because
And
anybody who
mine is
knows
too.
football might be like, yo, what is this guy talking about? I don't know what he's talking about, which I don't know what I'm talking about.
But the basic premise is what? To move people out of the way to move the ball down the field, right?
Yes.
And I think that it's become complicated, and people have made it more complicated because it's all about, I think, deception in a way, and them trying to trick people because it's so basic. They're trying to trick each other to think, okay, well, they think I'm going to do this with this set, but I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this, and that's where I think the complications come in at.
I'll tell you the truth. I think the same goes with basketball. I think basketball is not that complicated either.
It's not.
And whenever we was watching that video about how Golden State's offense, I'm like, bro, this is not that complicated. Like, it's like you got 7-footer shooting threes. I mean, what is there to talk about here? You know what I mean?
It's not that complicated.
You got Kevin Durant 7-foot shooting threes from 40 feet away. I mean, what do we need to play for? You know what I mean? Set a pick. You know what I mean? Whatever you got to do.
You know, when you think about football and you think about how they are always emphasizing that most people want their quarterback to be really smart.
In the pocket.
In the pocket. They tend, and that's why they have used that reason to say why they're not more African American quarterbacks in football, because it seems like all these non-African American guys are so smart and they know they can.
I take offense to that. So you can only be smart if you're a quote unquote white quarterback.
That is kind of the inference.
Nobody else is smart.
Well,
Wow.
not
Nice.
that's been the inference. That
Interesting.
yeah, it is
Very interesting.
It is. But if you look at over the years, there hasn't been a ton of African Americans that have played this position, especially when I was coming up. There was almost none.
Got to be a smart
In
quarterback.
fact, there were none. There was. I don't remember an African American quarterback until I think Joe Gillum of the the Pittsburgh Steelers came along and took Terry Bradshaw's job, and then he got himself all messed up into trouble, and they kind of pushed him out the door. But other than that, there was no African Americans playing quarterback in this league. That's why when you look around now, you see a lot of them not being given an opportunity. What they did in the old days is they changed them. They changed their positions. They made them something else. They made them a wide receiver. They made them a cornerback.
Because they're not smart.
They're not right. They're not smart enough.
Dang.
They don't have the particulars
only
to.
Only they were a little bit smarter, man.
just-
It's just those stupid black quarterbacks, man. I don't know what it is.
Without saying that specifically, that's kind of what I came away with. But the games next week, the showdown, Marion will travel to Mullins. And as I said, Mullins coming off that victory last night over Creek Bridge. It would have been nice for Marion if they had won that game last night. But going into a game with a seemingly tough Mullins team is not an ideal situation for you. This thing could easily get out of hand next week in Mullins if Marion doesn't come, locked and loaded. Mullins people and Mullins fans and Mullins players are looking to make a statement next week. And what better way to do that than against your arch rival? So I expect the game is going to be packed next week. I expect there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm surrounding the game. And the winner will have bragging rights for another year in Marion County. Mullins has bigger aspirations. They are looking to move up the totem pole and be, one of the best teams in the PD area. And by all indication, from what I'm hearing, that they have a good opportunity to be that. We'll just have to wait and see. But certainly the Marion kids will come in ready to play, I'm sure. They got a whole week to get ready. And this is as important a game as there is in the county, year in and year out. Looking at some other games that are on tap next week, let's see, Marlboro County. Marlboro County is off next week. Manning played Wilson the other night, and Wilson Tigers have gotten off to a good start as well. They lost. Wilson beat Manning the other night. It's the second win of the season for them. The Tigers got a pretty much new coach, and they're trying to get some things done over there. But it doesn't look like my friend Jackie Hayes is going to call me today, which, kind of throws a wrench into things a little bit here.
You want to talk about Zion?
Want to talk about Zion? Yeah, let's talk about Zion, Jared.
All right. Well, I saw a video. They were showing his Duke. They were doing like a little, doing the numbers for their vertical and everything, all the different players on the team.
His vertical leap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody went, whatnot. His was by far from what the video said, the YouTube video, they said that his vertical was the highest in Duke history as far as Duke players.
What did they say it was?
He had a 40-inch vert.
Okay. See, I know a guy back in the day whose vertical far exceeded that. North Carolina State guard forward David Thompson. Thompson's vertical leap was measured at 48.
David Thompson. David Thompson.
David Thompson. He was a North Carolina State star back in the 70s. And
that might have been one of the guys they mentioned too. It was either David Robinson or David Thompson. But
it has to be Thompson. Thompson will be the guy because he was the first guy that got them to talking about vertical leaps. And Thompson was maybe 6'3". He was not a giant. But I didn't hear any talk about verticals before David Thompson. They used to throw him the alley-oop because at the time in college basketball, they couldn't dunk. That's after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar / Lou Alcindor came along, and they banned dunking in college basketball.
They let him alley, though? Alley is a dunk?
Yeah, but you can't touch the rim. See, a dunk is like this.
So he used the alley lay?
And just have to drop it in. Couldn't touch the rim at all.
Oh.
So he was the first guy that they ever started talking about verticals. They said, so Zion was a 40?
It says Zion's vert was a 40. And then, but when they say vert, they mean like max vert as far as like with a running start.
Right.
So he had a 40. But yeah, man, I'm looking
See,
forward
David Thompson wasn't a run. It was a vertical. It was straight up, 48 inches. They said he could go.
Oh, I don't know what Zion's would be.
So
I'm looking forward to seeing him. I mean, they said they had a couple preseason games. I mean, he's putting up buckets, man. He's getting like 30 a game or 28 a game with all these rebounds. He's dunking on people. Yeah, it's nasty. They say he's probably going to be top 5 pick next year.
some people are thinking maybe number 1.
I mean, as far as hype wise, I mean, I haven't heard anybody. I haven't really been hearing any names really that's like that hype that Zion is. Even for the past like 2 years, he's been so hyped.
But isn't he coming in with a bunch of other guys that's supposed to be like?
He came in with the other. He was like the number 2 top ranked basketball player this year. I think he came with Cam Reddish and the other guy that you said you liked who did that dunk on the break.
Yeah.
You could probably look it up real quick. I forget his name.
Right.
But yeah, those 2 guys.
Well, Duke for the last couple of years. It was a conversation in my sports group last week. Tar Heel fans are feeling like, you know what? Yeah, Duke got all this talent, but we still gonna beat him.
Okay, no, you're not, bro.
You don't think they're gonna beat him,
bro?
You don't think
Tar Heels are not beating Duke this year. They can go ahead and wrap it up. There's no way they're beating Duke.
You don't think so?
No, I do not. No way possible.
Well, Tar Heel fans are pretty excited. They think they're gonna get
Tar Heels. Y'all got the wrong system. Y'all are trying to have these vets. You're not going to get the best talent trying to keep people around for 10 years. Okay. Nobody's going to want to come to you. You're not getting the top recruits. You haven't been getting the top recruits for a few years now because y'all ain't trying to do the one and done deal, which nobody's trying to stay there and play as a Tar Heel for 5 years, 4 years. Nobody is trying to do that. That's why y'all ain't getting the talent.
Now you're talking about this Zion Williamson guy, but a couple of years ago you were very excited about Seventh Woods.
I like Seventh, but I mean, like Seventh is still riding the bench at North Carolina. I ain't seen him play yet.
I got a note here that I got to read. This is from my friend Vanessa, and they're having a family reunion down the Bluff Road. It reads, "The Bluff Road family reunion, including Foxborough Road and Penderborough Road, will be held September 1st, 2018, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Palmetto Room, located 1014 South Main Street in Marion." That's the Palmetto Room, located 1014 South Main Street, Marion, South Carolina. This event focuses on honoring our parents, family, and community, and unity. Please come out and have family fun day. The Bluff Road Family Reunion Committee. Now, I think that there was a price, how much it was going to cost, but it doesn't say here. So, 11 to 6, September 1st, the Bluff Road Family Reunion. And that's my friend Vanessa, who sent this by this morning. So,
yo, all I remember is Seventh was doing Jaleel dirty at the Chick-fil-A Classic. That's all I remember. Did him dirty.
He kind of did.
Blocking his shot, pinning that jump on the backboard, all kind of mess.
He was kind of doing everybody dirty at that tournament. Jaleel still had a really good game, though.
Yeah, Jaleel was getting off, but like head to head, he was getting the best of Jaleel. It looked like to me. Jaleel, he caught Jaleel stuff on the backboard, and I was like,
he did catch him on the backboard?
He caught that jump. I don't know if he caught it on the backboard or if he just threw it somewhere.
Like one of those LeBron James chase down kind of things? Or?
I don't know if he caught it on the back. I know he blocked it. I don't remember if it was a chase down on the glass or if it was just a throw it into the crowd. But that shot was no more once it went up.
But you went to see Zion in the Skeezer thing, didn't you? Didn't you go check him out?
I did. And
what was the atmosphere like there?
It's just like I've never really been to a game like that. I mean, like I've been to a game where there's players who get a lot of hype and people are excited to see them, but like it was like butterflies. Every time he touched the ball, it's like everybody's like, everybody's ready. Everybody's got their phone out, and it's like watching them jump. Like me and TJ agreed. Like he did this one jump. He wasn't even dunking. He just jumped, right? Just a jump.
And people went crazy.
He was so high. His head was near the rim.
There was a guy once that they called a human highlight film. His name was Dominic Wilkins, and this sounds like something similar to that.
Bruh, watching Zion just jump. He didn't even dunk. He didn't dunk. He didn't have the ball. I think it was like somebody was thinking about throwing him an alley, and he went up, but they didn't throw it. And everybody was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like,
and nothing even.
This is going to be a crazy day.
and nothing even happened.
Nothing happened. He just jumped, and everybody was like, "Oh my goodness! Do you see how high this dude is off the ground? His head was near the rim, and it didn't even look like he was giving his best effort."
Well, right now, a lot of people around here are kind of split because they want to see Zion do well, but a lot of those fans are Tar Heel fans, and it's kind of hard for them to cross over and root for them because they hate Duke so much.
How about this, man? Let go of the fandom and just go ahead and appreciate greatness when you see it. You know what I'm saying? Zion's gonna be right now. Zion is great coming out of South Carolina. He's gonna be one of the most memorable basketball players coming out of South Carolina for the past 10 to 15 years that anybody can remember. He's nationally known.
There's no doubt.
Everybody knows him. On the other side of the country, people know him.
Absolutely.
So just respect that and just appreciate that he's hometown dude.
And for those of you that don't know, that we had Zion here for 2 years in 7th and 8th grade before he left town and blew up. When he left there, he was a little guard, maybe about 5'11". 2 years later, he's up at Spartanburg Day, and he's 6'7", and he's jumping out of the gym, and he's exciting people across the nation.
Yeah, I personally have never seen anybody who could jump like that in person.
Especially as big as he is.
He's huge. He's huge. He's a massive human being.
Anyway, folks, that's all we got for right now.
It's time for some football. In closing.
It is. It's time for some football.
Yeah, next month.
Weren't the Cowboys on TV this week?
I don't know, man. I've been so busy.
Oh yeah. I know you're so busy. You missing the Cowboys. Yeah, right.
That's my team. Go Cowboys.
Jerry's plantation. Anyway, that's all we got for now, folks. Marcus Weeks wants to know: can Zion shoot or just dunk?
He has a decent shot. I'm sure he's gonna work on it, but like you can work on your shot, but like that type of athleticism, man, it's just crazy. But yeah, he's got a decent shot. He hit a couple threes.
Marcus, I think people are going to be surprised that Zion is basically a guard. Okay, and people are going to see those guard skills come more to the forefront as he moves forward with his career in Duke and also in the pros. And
I don't think Duke will hold him back either. Duke is gonna let him shine.
They're gonna let him shine. Anyway, folks, we're out. Have a wonderful, safe week.
That's one beef I had with him. All the